And our next toast will be from our best man, Jonathan Mercado.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying this fine evening, having good conversation, enjoying tasty drinks, having laughs, and making memories tonight. Because that's what this night is about, right? Celebrating such a special day for both the Wiggin and Neville families. Thank you to Todd and Alexis for wonderful speeches. And a big thank you to Danny and Alaina for hosting this beautiful wedding and reception tonight. Now, I'm in no position to pretend like I have any idea about the amount of time or energy that goes into planning an evening like this. But I bet it took a lot of phone calls, a lot of late nights, weeks upon weeks of preparation. But look at the outcome. We get this beautiful night to celebrate such a wonderful couple as they're surrounded by the ones that love them most. Everyone looks beautiful and stunning tonight. Thank you to all of you for being here and showing your love and support for the newlyweds. And thank you to the staff as well for making us feel so welcome tonight. For those I haven't spoken to or met yet, my name is Jonathan. I have the privilege of being Danny's best man, as well as being up here as part of your entertainment for the night. Danny has given me months to prepare for and write this speech, so when I wrote this all last night, I can't lie, I was getting a little bit nervous. But a little alcohol in the system and this microphone in my hand kind of feels like therapy to me right now. I get to just talk, and I'm feeling more confident and smooth. The lights are feeling a little bit warmer, the room's toasty, but I'm feeling good. Now, I've had this speech prepared for a while now, and I've made sure to try and include all the parts of what makes a best man speech good. It's got to be funny. There have to be some good stories. It has to be lighthearted, but it's also got to be sincere and thoughtful. And I really try to focus on all of that. Danny explicitly told me he wants me to absolutely embarrass him tonight in front of all of his family and friends. And Alaina agrees with this, right? No, I'm just kidding. We're going to have a good time tonight. Keep things nice and easy. So some of you may know I have two younger brothers who are a little closer in age. And growing up, they were always closer with one another. They do sports together, have similar friend groups. I mean, they were a year apart. They spent high school together. As the oldest brother, I had to be more of the responsible one. And as a result, I didn't grow up as close to as Nick and Carlos did. I didn't have that same type of brotherly love until I met Danny. And I have Scouts to thank for that. Danny and I have known each other for about 15 years now. Yeah, we met in 7th grade, and while we didn't go to the same middle school, we would see each other once a week for our Friday night meetings with Scouts. Over time, we both developed a very solid friendship and fostered this brotherhood where nothing was off the table in conversation. We talk about literally anything and everything, and that sense of trust I've had with him is one I don't have with anyone else. On weekends, when we wouldn't have camping trips with Scouts, we'd have sleepovers and hangouts, playing video games till 3 in the morning. The memories of Mrs. Wiggin coming downstairs to tell us we really should be sleeping are some of my fondest memories growing up, as Danny and I spent our childhood with one another. We played sports, played music, and traveled around the world together. Throughout the last 15 years of my life, Danny and I were able to experience some of the greatest things that life had to offer. So fast forward to our sophomore year of college. Danny's studying abroad in Spain. And maybe halfway through our second semester, he gives me a call and says Marcus and I should buy some passports and come out to visit him in Spain. Well, that turned into a 2-week backpacking trip through Europe. After I took my last finals exam of my sophomore year, I literally got in a car, drove to the airport, and flew to meet Danny halfway around the world. Marcus, Danny, and I all met up in France before eventually traveling through Italy and then Spain. We did plenty of sightseeing, tasted foods and wines, experienced the culture. We even went skydiving in Italy. We were also sure to experience some of the international nightlife as well. There was a night Danny and I went to a club in Italy. We walked in, heard the music, felt the vibe, before making our way over to the bar to get some drinks. We were both looking at the drink menu, and I had never had a Jaeger bomb before. For those of you who don't know, Jaeger bomb is where you take a shot of Jägermeister, you drop it into a glass of Red Bull, and you chug it. I had no idea. Danny ordered a drink of his choice, and the bartender came back with 2 drinks, one for Danny and one for me. Danny and I gave a quick cheers before taking our shots. I saw Danny enjoy his drink, but when I took my shot, I couldn't quite taste the alcohol. I was like, this just tastes like Red Bull. It was weird to me. Not too long after that, the bartender comes back with a shot and leaves it on the bar counter between Danny and I. Danny and I both looked kind of confused at one another, wondering, did we just get a free drink? I thought about taking it, but Danny didn't hesitate. He shrugged his shoulders and took the shot himself. After making a face, we both went to the dance floor to enjoy some music. And at this point, I'm looking at Danny. He is having the time of his life. The music, the lights, the atmosphere, Danny is in his element at the center of this nightclub. And I'm watching him, and I'm realizing I am 100% sober. The gears start to turn, and I start to realize Danny took my shot of Jägermeister. I just took a shot of Red Bull. I didn't realize that I was supposed to drop that shot into my glass of Red Bull before I drank it. So Danny got my drink, and that pretty much set the tempo for the night. But living life to the fullest has always been Danny's outlook on life. There was a time we were talking about tattoo ideas, if we were to ever get them. And he told me, John, I really loved my experience studying abroad in Spain. I learned some really good Spanish. I fell in love with the culture. If I were to get a tattoo, I'd get the word aproveche up on my chest. He told me it's a word that means we should make the most of life and live without regret. I believed him until I was sitting at a birthday dinner with Danny and my Hispanic mother, who was fluent in Spanish. Part of the conversation with my mother migrated towards tattoo ideas, and when Danny told my mother what his tattoo idea was, my mother burst out laughing. At first I was like, well, this is kind of rude. I'm not telling her my tattoo ideas now. Danny tried to explain to her what the word meant, but my mom was shaking her head, telling her, no, that's not exactly what it would mean if it was tattooed on your body. She said the word aproveche means more along the lines of to take advantage of. And if Danny were to get the word aproveche on his chest, he'd be walking around asking people to take advantage of it. We laughed about that so hard that night, and that kind of put an end to those tattoo ideas. But man, have we really had some good times together. You know, throughout high school, every now and then, Danny and I would take a drive and sit parked outside the 7-Eleven in Wooddale. We'd make it a tradition to buy some Slurpees and talk about life for hours. There were a few times in college, too, when we'd meet up and catch up on things that were going on in our lives. I remember the night in that parking lot where Danny started talking to me about Alaina for the first time. He had mentioned this girl on the women's cross-country team at Elmhurst and how he was developing these feelings for her. Months would go by, and as the relationship developed, there came a point where Danny really wanted me to meet her. She knew who I was, I knew who she was, we heard a little bit about each other, and I wanted to meet her too. But as Danny and I like to do, we wanted to make it a surprise. So we came up with this elaborate, goofy plan where I would hide in the closet of Danny's dorm room and jump out wearing as much clothing as I could possibly put on from that closet. It sounds ridiculous, and it was. I was wearing a sweater with a leather jacket on top, a scarf, hat, a towel wrapped around my waist to finish off the look. The first time... I'm sorry. Danny sat Alaina down on his bed with the closet in the background and me hiding in it. He built up all this anticipation, telling her he had a big surprise for her. He asked for a drum roll, and seconds later, I surprised her, looking as I did, looking absolutely ridiculous. The first time meeting Alaina was very memorable, to say the least. And there's a video of this, and it's really funny, so if you ever get the chance to see it, you won't be disappointed about the first time I met Alaina. Now, the years to follow, I had the privilege of getting to know the woman that was bringing so much joy to Danny's life. Alaina is by far one of the sweetest and most kind people I know. I know I'm not the only one that sees her Snapchat stories of her 8-mile runs at 5:30 a.m. as she wears a headlamp in complete darkness. The woman is fearless. She's passionate. She's a strong woman capable of achieving all that life has to offer. And to see her married to my best friend is a remarkable feeling. I still think about the time these two drove 14 hours to Alabama to come visit me while I was in flight school. They're both wonderful people and really good friends. Really good friends. To Mr. and Mrs. Neville and Mr. and Mrs. Wiggin, you have raised very strong and beautiful soul children who love unconditionally and always give their best to the ones in their lives. It has been an honor to get to know them both, and I'm incredibly excited for the next stages of their life. Alaina, you truly are one of a kind, and you make Danny incredibly happy. Your love and support for him and all that he does, without a doubt, made him a better man, and he truly strives to be the best man that he can be for you. I know I have the title of being the best man at the wedding tonight, but I must say Danny is the best man to be married to. And this was the man that canoed boundary waters with me, my raft mate when we went whitewater rafting in West Virginia, my hiking partner as we hiked the Grand Canyon from rim to rim to rim, the person I could talk to about truly anything and counseled me in times I needed it most, the one that sat with me in front of that Wooddale 7-Eleven at the latest hours of the night just talking about life. Danny's always been the best man. He is and will always be my best friend. I'm supposed to cry here, but I'm not going to. I do want to wrap things up. My father is here tonight, and he said once, in all of his infinite wisdom, that life becomes that much more enjoyable when you find someone that you can share it with. We share experiences with one another that include the best and worst moments of our lives. We go through the highs and lows together and decide to stick through it no matter the outcome. We choose to be with the people that give us good energy and have love guide our relationships in healthy ways. Today, you both have taken one of the biggest steps in your lives. You have both chosen one another and have forever taken a vow that will last in this life and the life after. As we celebrate this night together with a lovely couple, let's appreciate the moments we have with one another in times like these. So I'd like to propose a toast to the bride and groom, that they continue to grow, flourish, and live happy and healthy lives. That together they take full advantage of all that life has to offer and truly live life to the fullest. Approveche.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Let's have a big hand for him.
Are you sure you're ready for the surprise?
Yeah.
All right, I just need a. Are you sure you're ready? I just need a drum roll. Are you 100?
Get out of the surprise already. I'm hot. I'm not your monkey. I can't wait there. I've been waiting. I've been dressed like this for the past 45 minutes, dude. I can't do this.
Jonathan.